learn about data structures. Okay, there are so many data structures in Python. One among is string. What is string? String is a mix of alphanumerics, alphanumerics, numerics with along with specials. Okay, represented by how strings are represented?
Double
Single
quotes.
quotes or double quotes. Okay, both way we represent. Okay. Example, so anything, the string could be anything. It could be combination. Example, name. Name is say something Vinay. Okay. So information, info is example. This is okay. See this. There are again we have to go back to understand your fundamental. There are many things we have it here. What are the many things we have it? We have name is what is the name represent here?
Type or
No,
character.
no. Name is a variable. Name is a variable holding the value called Vinay. Okay. So here what is Vinay? Vinay is a data or information. Name is a variable. Data type of the variable is of type string. There are three things. One is in this case, again, you have to be very clear about your fundamentals. Name is a variable. Then equal is assignment operator. Then here Vinay is value. Data type is DT is what is the data type? String data type. Okay.
String.
So ID represent address of variable. So there is so many things we learned in the beginning classes. Try to recollect quickly. I wanted to know the value. I use a print name. I wanted to find the type of it. I use type. I want to know the ID where it is being allocated. I'm going to have the data type as an ID. Okay. So it is going to give the different parameters. So whenever we call a variable, the value that is get saved will be displayed. So since I use a single quote to represent a value, the data type is going to be of string data type. So we can also create an empty string. How to create an empty string? S is equal to S. Okay. So you can print S. This is also of string data type. Here there is no value. I have an empty string. Correct. So why we use string is also called as a container. I'm using a concept called containers. Container, very, very important. Python is of full containers. Containers, you know that you use the containers in our house. Why do you use the containers? What purpose you
Storing.
use a container? Storage, correct?
Store.
To store the multiple items you are going to keep ahead. So before to that, so string is half homogeneous. String can be just not a character. String can also be different character. Example, ID. I just gave an ID. ID could be say Python 123 hash. So here I have everything. I have everything like mix of alphabets, numerical as well as the special characters. So it could be anything. Okay, it could be anything. Whenever you represent a data, it is a string format, you need to enclose it in a single quotes. The moment you enclose in a single quotes, this become your string type. String we call them as a containers. Why it is called as a containers? So just imagine, it is very interesting to know. I'll create a container or something. Example, you container, you remember in a kitchen we use lot of containers. We keep an items. So okay, we keep a lot of items in the containers. So like this, Python also represent a string as a container. Container means we can hold multiple value. Example, Python, I have a variable called subject. Subject is our example. Subject is equal to Python. What happened internally? It's very easy, important to understand. So it is represented in the form of a container. Each one is called an element. This is called string container because the data type is I'm using here is a string. This is a string type container. Here items are represented in this way. Each one is called one item. Item of a
String.
okay. So each item, each one is called as an item of a container. Each item has its own place. Each item has its own place. In Python, this is called as an item. Each one is called as an item. This is called a place, or we call them an index. What is index represent? I'll tell you. Index represent position of item within a container. This whole is called container. I call this container as a name called subject. Okay. Subject is a container in that items are placed in a sequential manner. What is the meaning of a sequential manner? Is we are going to have place for each item. Look at here. The P is in a place of 0. In Python, index is always start from 0. Very, very important items are right here. In Python, first index is always 0. Okay, it is not 1. Please remember. What is index? First of all, please let me know what is the meaning of an index. Index is position or a place of item within container. What is container, by the way? Container is a group of elements, group of items. I am grouping a multiple item together. This is called a container. These are the placeholders, or we are grouping items together. That is called a container. One such container is a string. Here, index is a place of an item within a container. You have to remember this. This is an item. Okay, this is your container of a string type. Here, each item has its own position. That position we call them an index. In Python, always be starting from the 0 and goes. This is called sequential containers. Why it is sequential containers? Here, you cannot have gap between like this. No. Your sequence, your indexes is always be continuous in nature, even though you have a gap. Example, subject, Python, SQL, AWS. Example, I have 3 subjects together. Okay. So I have a space, then I have an SQL space, SQL space, AWS. Okay. So even space is also one item. Please remember, even though space is also occupies one item. So here we call this as an container. Here 6 is what is there in the 6th position? Empty space. 7 is there in S, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. See here we have a sequences. Index is also in sequences in order. That's why in Python we call string is a sequential container. Okay, we have to use all these words. Okay, we need to understand sequential container. What is sequential container? Indexes are incontinuous. That's why I call them sequences. It is a sequential in nature. Got it? Clear or any question here? What is a container? Container is a group of elements. Each item is in the container is placed. Each one has its own position. And string is of type of sequential container. Clear about the string? What are the different things? String container. I am using the concept called string. Okay, string is a container group of items. Each item in the group of containers, and index is always start from 0. And sequential container means indexes are also in continuous. Any question about this concept, anyone? It's very, very important because next 1 week, what are you teaching or learning? It's all depend on this concept only. You need to remember index always start from 0. Okay, we can also have a negative indexes. Negative indexes start from -1. Goes on like this. So if you are looking at what is the position of, see, let's understand this. What is the position of P within a container? Where it is placed?
0.
0.
0.
Okay. Let's understand how to get that. Example, I wanted to get, this is my string. I wanted to get the first item of my subject, first item of my container, subject. We need to use a square bracket. Square bracket is mainly used to access an item within a container. So square bracket, what is the purpose? Let me write it in Excel for easy of understanding. I have a subject. Okay. Square bracket is used, square bracket, open and closing square brackets is used to access. What is meaning access? Access means get an item out or retrieve. Retrieve means read. Okay, you can use synonyms. Read, access and access of item within container. Then how do you access? Subject of. Always whenever you want to access a particular item, you need to specify its position. To access an item from the container, you need to give a position. What is the position? What are the item that present in a position 0? What are the item that is present in a 0? It is going to give. I wanted to access what is there in the position 7. What we should give?
Yes.
Subject of 7. Okay, it is going to give the item that is present in a particular location. Clear? How to access an items within a container? Using an index. That is only the way we can access an items within a containers using the positions. Positions are nothing but indexes. Okay. You need to use a word called index. It is very, very important. You should know what is the meaning of an index. Okay. Index what represents? Index represents item of an position of an item within the container. Clear? Any question? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. So we
What
can
about
also have a negative index. So
negative
how
index?
we have a positive index? We can also have a negative index. Negative index starts from the -1. It goes on -6, -7, -8, -9. So if general question, if it you start from the -1, what could be the, if at all you have starting from 1, you have a 13 is your last index. If I starting from -1, what could be your last index?
Minus 14.
14, minus 14.
14. Yeah, that is a logic you need to apply. Okay, minus 10. This is the, say 13 plus 1. So example, again, I'll ask you one more in the different way. Okay, I just asked this question. Okay, oracle. Okay, just say oracle. Okay, if at all, I have a 6 characters, correct? I have a 6 characters. What could be the last index position?
5.
5.
5. Okay, because you start from 0 and plus 1 you have. Okay, last index will be 5. 6 minus 1, that gives your last index because we start from the 0, correct? So that's why 6 minus 1, that gives you the last index. How you have a positive indexes, you can also have a negative indexes. Example, here mute. Oh. Okay, so just give the negative index, what happens, let's see. How do I have the same? Subject of -1, subject of -2. It will give the last but one characters also. Okay. See here, -1 is S, -2 is your W. Got it? Clear? Any question? Any question, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, if we given any numerical number, sir. So for what?
There.
For that.
This is also treated as, see, again, that's what, okay. I will teach one more important concept of a string is example, Python or subject is equal to Python 1.2.3, Python version 3.2. Okay. Is it string? Yes, you can subject. Yeah, you can give that. There is no worry about it. Okay. Example, look at here. What is Python 3 position? 3 plus 6, 7, 8. Okay, 7, 8 position. It is going to give you the daughter. I'm going to say 7. Okay, it is going to give 3. This is the question is very, very important thing is string container. We also called it as an homogeneous data type. Homogeneous. What is the meaning of homogeneous? Each item of same type. What is that meaning? Each of item of the same type. See, you go and check whether what is an item type of each of the item within the container. Example, type of subject of 0. Okay. Subject of 1. Subject of 1. Subject of 7. What is the data type of each of the items? What you are retrieving? Is all of
String.
string. Each item in this container is of same data type, that is your string. That's why it is called as homogeneous. Example, 1 hour, it's very important. If at all I take an interview, I expect 4 answers from each of them. If I ask what is a string container, the answer should be string is one of the data, is one of the container. Here the item container is a sequential in nature. That means we have a continuous indexes and it is of homogeneous in nature. That means each item of same data type. You can this is each item of type. There is one more salient feature. I will explain that. This is what I explained. String is of homogeneous and sequential in nature. You understood the terminologies now? Homogeneous and sequential nature. That means each item of same data type, and sequential in nature means they are continuous in nature. You cannot have, if at all you have a gap, we call them a spar. Dense and spar, you know word called dense versus spar. Dense means continuous. Strings are continuous in nature. Spar means you have gap. So this is different. Usually string is of type continuous in nature. Okay, that's why it's called sequential nature. How do you access item of a container? How do you access your item of a container?
Index.
Using an index. What is an index?
Is a position of
Position of item within a container represents your. Okay, I will just put this in your chat. So that you know what is this. Okay, negative index. Okay, so I just snip it and I'll post in your group. Just have this in your always. It's very important. Remember this. Okay. So one more, and you understood now why it is called sequential, like why it is called, by the way, homogeneous data type. Why string is called homogeneous data type?
all items are of same type.
All items are of same type. That's why it is called homogeneous in nature. Yes, we have a different containers. Each one could have a different data type as well. 1 minute. Hello. Okay, now I will teach you then another important aspect of this is very, very important, guys. Mutable versus immutable. What is the meaning of mutable and immutable? Mutable means changeable. Mutable means changeable. Means changeable. Immutable means unchangeable. Mutable means unchanged. What is it meaning in change, unchanged? Let's see. Okay. So any questions here? It is very important, guys, because these first 10 to 12 classes are very fundamental. You should be very strong. When you go to interview, most of 80 questions will be on the fundamentals. Nobody will ask you to write and design a framework or design a website. Everybody will check your fundamentals knowledge on the programming knowledge, because if you know the fundamental variables, data types, typecasting, address, copy, memory, mutable, homogeneous. This is all applicable for every program. I'm telling you, if you learn Python, you can learn any other programming very easily. You can learn Java in 10 days. You can learn PL SQL in 15 days because most of the concepts are repetitive. Only here and there you need to adjust it. Okay. So I'm going to teach you another called string is are called immutable. Strings are immutable. Let's see what is example. I have a subject is equal to Python. Okay. Python. I wanted to change example. I wanted to change 0. I wanted to change the position, the character. What is 0 gives? It is going to give you the first item. I wanted to assign a new value to the first position. It's going to throw an error called, see here what it does. String object it does not support item assignment. You cannot change item of your containers. You cannot. Once container is created, it is fixed. You cannot replace an items of your container at any time. Then how do you do it? You need to recreate your container from the beginning itself. How to create it? You have to create this way. You need to recreate your entire container with the new values. That means string is your immutable in nature. Please understand, string is of type mutable or immutable. It is of immutable. Clear? Who is that making a lot of noise? I don't know why you want to disturb me. Hmm? Vamshi. Hmm? Somehow you're not liking me. That's fine. Even though you don't like, you have to be in mute. Hmm. So unmute, it's called immutable because are you trying to change an item of a container? Is it allowing to change? It's not. That's why it is called immutable. So what did you understand about the strings? I'll write it on the top. Okay, I'll write it everything on the top. Okay, let's put it strings. Strings are homogeneous. Correct? Understood this is then
Yes.
sequential,
Contains.
then immutable. Okay. Okay. These are the three important things you need to understand about the strings. Clear? Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is something we can also use as styling. I forgot about the styling. We can use this here. It is giving the tab. Anyway, this is all styling you can create. So string is of homogeneous, sequential, immutable. So how to access an item of a string container? You always used to have your indexes. Irrespective of what container we use, always the item, the position of item, the index is always start from the 0 and they are continuous in nature. That's why called sequential. We can also have a negative indexing. Negative indexing start from the -1. The last character will be having the -1. Clear how to access an items? Using the position. Okay. Next, I'll move on.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
sir, I have one doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, when we retrieve the if Python has 6 numbers,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
the last n is fifth one.
Mm.
Uh,
See, last one
instead
is
of we
your
have
example. How many total indexes we have? 0, 1, 3. Correct? We have an indexes is here 0, 1, 2. If at all I give index 3, what will happen? That is your question, huh?
sir, instead of 3, we can put L, sir.
L. No, L is
No.
not your position. L is an item. Please understand. You need to understand this. Item is, this is your item. This is your index.
Sir.
So you always use an indexes to retrieve the data. You cannot retrieve the data using an items. This is your data. Data can be retrieved using the only through the indexes. Got it? So you cannot use that index. Even though you give 3, what you get an output? Anyone suggest? You get an error index out of range. Index error. See here, string index out of range. That means there is no position, there is no index created for 3 because there is no position beyond 2, correct? So this is also, you need to remember this, guys. What is an index error? When do you get an index error?
It is out
Out
of
of
range.
range.
There
When
is
you
no
try
that
to access
index
an index,
value.
it is not present, then you get an index error. So what is a type of a type error or an object does not support whenever you try to assign a value to the immutable container, you do get object does not support your item assignment. This is something you need to give an attention to understand. Explain error. Something here, you got something here. So this is something new I found here. Example, next step. Explain error. You can also read that error, it seems here. When you generate next, let's see what it is give. Finish. Explain. Thinking. Oh, it is used here, ChatGPT here itself. Oh my God. Oh, super, no? You can just give an explain error. It is going to explain everything. Super, no? It has only 3 characters. The valid indexes are 0, 1, 2. But trying to access the index 3, it is going to behind the boundaries of the string, resulting index error. Super, no? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Hmm.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's a
So you can use this
Sir.
for your knowledge. Okay. I wanted to add next
Sir, one
cell.
thing.
Hmm.
Sir, if we give S
Hmm.
of 4 equals 1,
Mhm,
it will
mhm,
take
mhm. No, you cannot assign any value or you cannot create. It is also get the same error.
not S equal to S of 4 equal to.
No, it is not. Sorry, okay, sorry. S of 4. No, it will not. Same. Immutable. You cannot add, you cannot replace, you cannot delete also. You cannot do any operations on the
Okay.
container. It is a immutable. You cannot either you cannot add an item, you cannot remove, or you cannot replace. That's what it is. Immutable means it is restricted from all 3. All 3 what? Insert, update, delete. You cannot do any of these 3 operations on the constant container, that is your string container. Okay. Now, we can also now very important topic I'm going to call the slicing. What is meaning slicing? Slicing, spelling, slicing. Cut, cut,
SLIC.
S-L-I, S-L-I-C-E, I-N-G,
Yeah.
slicing. Okay. Slicing, okay. So cut range of character, cut range of characters. What is the range of characters we wanted to cut? I have a subject is equal to Python, AWS, and SQL. So I wanted to see as of now using a string, using the index, we are getting only 1 character. But I wanted to have, see here it is already generated. I wanted to have multiple characters. Example, I wanted to cut from here to here, here to here. Okay, what I do? Subject, okay, start from 0 to which indexes you wanted to cut. Example 6. Okay, till 6 I wanted to cut. Okay, see here. Take an example. I'll give one more example. Don't worry. It is confusing again. Okay. Let's take Python. Okay. You have a container PythonAWS. Okay. This is your container and this is your indexes. Okay. So this is your index. This is your items of your container. So now what I've done the slicing is I'm saying, see here I use 0 is to hyphen 0 is to 6. What is that meaning? Sir, it is supposed to give till here, but it is only stopping here. The reason behind this is very important. Something inclusive and exclusive. Okay, it starts from here. Okay, it goes up to 6, not including 6. So that means whenever you use a slicing, okay, up to 6, example I'm saying here 0 is to 6. What is it meaning here? Start from 0 up to 6. not including 6. It is stopping here. It is not going to till 6. Up to 6, not including 6. Okay. That's why we call, in this example, we call, and let's do this. 0 below example, okay. 0 is start index. That is where you are going to start. And 6 is your end index. Okay, end index. Start index is always inclusive. What does mean inclusive? Included. Okay, end index are exclusive. Okay, or exclusive. You have to remember this. Some people get confused. Exclusive. Okay. So what is it meaning inclusive and exclusive? When I say 0, 6, it is going to till 6, not including 6. So it is going to give Python. Okay. I'll give one more example. Let's try out. Okay. I say 7:9. What it will display?
AW.
AWS
Base
or
AW.
AW again, yes. It is up to here, not including only it, because it cannot be go here because 9 is an exclusive. 9 is an exclusive, correct? Correct?
Yes.
Got it? Now I use an SQL example. I have one more variable called S11, 12. Getting or confusion, guys? I know it is confusing few days, but when you start learning or understanding, it is easy. Okay? Clear? Now I say here, clear? Any question here? Example now, example I am writing here. It is good examples. I wanted to put 11 is to 3, 13. When what it will going to give?
Q.
SQ.
SQ, but I wanted to SQL
SQ.
also. SQL also I wanted to give what? Then what should I give?
11, 14.
14 will get an error. Can you access an items container with the index it is not present? What error you get? You already have that index error, yes. Correct? Example, I will put this here. So now first you try this, then we'll see this. Okay, now 11, 9. I can say here subject of 11, sorry, 9 is to 9, it give 8W. Okay, but I wanted to put 10 or 11 is to 13, it give only SQ. Okay, subject is 11 is to 13, it only gives SQ. But I want L also. But what can I use 14?
11,
Really, it will not work. It will not give an error. But I should not specify index 14 because there is no index 14 in my container. It is working. Don't worry about it. But what to do in this case, I want to leave the blank. Look at here. I'm going to leave blank. What means from 11 remaining all the things I'm saying here, starting from 11, give rest of the string. That is what if you leave a blank. Your endpoint I have not specified. The endpoint I have not specified. What will happen if you do not specify the endpoint? Starting from this, it is going to give everything. Just not here. If below after this you have anything, that also will be your example SQL. Then I have a Spark or something like what else we can teach here? Excel example. Okay. So from 11, it is going to give everything. It's from 11 onwards. Whatever the remaining items are there, it is going to give everything. So it is very, very important to need to understand how the slicing works. Clear? What is very important? Your endpoints are not include you. Example, I want AWS. Then what is you are going to give? I need AWS. How to slice? 7, starting from 7. How long you travel?
10.
10. Very good. In this case, it is going to give all 3 characters. Okay. So this is something you need to also practice few days. So up to 10, look at here, it is not going to include the space. Up to 10, not, it just stops at 10. That's it. Wherever it find an index as 10, it is going to be stopped. Clear? Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this both I'll going to post it. This is something called slicing. Example, I have to look at here. I taken numbers. Num is equal to, I have a string 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, okay. Num of 0 is to what it is going to give?
It will
What
give
it
all
will
the
give?
numbers.
Hmm?
990.
Display all the numbers.
It is going to
Endpoint.
give everything.
All the numbers.
Yes,
0
all
to
the
9.
because I starting from 0, I not specify the endpoint. It is going to give everything. Okay. Num of 1 is to 4. What is going to give?
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
3. Starting from 1 till 4,
1,
not
2, 3.
including 4. Okay. Same way, you can also use negative indexes to fetch. Example, num of -1. Okay. From minus now, okay, clear? Say num of -2, it is going to give the also accept. Okay, num of -2 gives you that. So we wanted to slice last 3 characters. What we should give? Starting from -3. I need all the remaining characters. I leave left. I not specify the end character where I need to stop. What is happening? From 7, it is giving all the remaining characters. I'm starting from -3. Remaining characters I give. Clear? Question, confusion?
Okay, sir.
Sir, now,
Yes, son.
so minus now plus
The example you have a such in India. Okay. So I wanted to slice last 3 character represents a country of a player. So you may have Sachin sometimes you can have Dhoni sometimes. You have a variable length. It is not guaranteed that where do you need to find your last 3. So in this case, what we do is whenever you wanted to last 3, you need to have it. I'm saying here print, okay, country is. What I'm going to do? I am going to slice last 3 characters. How do you like this? Player of. How to get the last 3 characters? -3. I don't specify the endpoint. It is -3. Okay, not
-3.
-3 is 2. Okay, country is India. Okay, you can have any C now. Replace any string. Example, Dhoni. Still, you get the same answer. But if you use a positive slicing, your string length is varies, then you might have a different result. Better whenever you wanted to access a leading and trailing, we call leading and trailing. Leading means beginning, trailing is your ending. So whenever you wanted to access or slice your last trailing characters, go for negative. Clear? Any question?
Sir, I have a doubt.
So
Slicing is applicable only for string or
every
also for
data,
integer?
everything you have, everything you can do. Other containers you have list tuples, everything. So we can do for all. There is other 4 containers are there. We'll learn by them also. Yes, the slicing can be done any container. Okay.
so
So
now
for variable
plus
num,
Hmm?
if you take it as the integer, what happens, sir? So you have taken
Integer
examples.
you cannot slice. Integers are not containers. Integers are the one value.
Okay, but
Yeah, I
you
will
have
tell you
taken a
that.
variable.
Good question. I will tell you. Wait, hold on. You cannot slice your integers because that is not a container. Why integers are not containers? Because it's only one item. The whole thing is one. I'm just doing something on mobile. Just hold on. Yeah, good question. So why we cannot? What happens if you take an integers and you try to slice? That's a given error called not a sliceable item. Hold on. Need a hour is. Okay, good question. Let's say number 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the data type of it? It says integer. You cannot slice because this is not an item. It is the only thing is full is your own item. Number is only one item. This is not a multiple items. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a single item. You try to slice your items now, you get an error. not a sliceable item. Not subscribable, not subscribable. You cannot access these items using the item because it is not a container. Please remember, string is a container. Number is not your container. Boolean not is your container. Got it? String is your
Okay, sir.
container because each is if of items. Here it is not an item. The whole thing is one value. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. Now I wanted to do step the last one I wanted to do it today. So negative slicing, you understood?
Yes.
So important thing is, please remember, this is very important. What will happen is this, guys. Anyone guess? You get nothing. Why? What is it meaning? -1 to -3.
Minus, minus, plus.
Hmm? Hmm? Hmm?
It will
What is
start from
happening?
minus
Minus
3.
1. Okay. Let me take a time. Let's to hold on. Yeah. You have B, Y, E, H, O, N. So we have both positive and negative indexes, correct? So we have both positive and negative indexes. Insert cell above. Okay. So negative index, this is your positive indexes, correct? 3, 4, 5. And you have a negative indexes as well. Insert rows above. So negative indexes is what? -5, -4, no, -6, huh? Yeah, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, and -1. So when you are slicing, always remember the slicing should happen from left to right side. You have to slice on both the ways. Either you are slicing on the positive or negative. The slicing should always happen from left to right side. So what happened here? What slicing I'm doing here? -1 to -3. -1 to -3. You cannot slice from left to right side. You are always be slicing from left to the right side. That means the start index should always be greater than end index. So in this case, -1 is bigger or -3 is bigger?
-1.
Huh?
Minus.
-1.
Sorry.
Minus.
Starting index you should always be
-1.
less than the, okay. So -1 is greater than compared to the -3. That's why you is getting a null. Even though you try to slice like this num of 3:1. What you get? You get the same null value. Because you cannot slice from right to back side. Right to the left side you cannot slice. Please remember, this is one of an intro question. In the objective type they will ask, what is an output of this statement? In both the cases you get an empty string because your starting index is always be the less compared to the right or your end index. Okay. So we cannot slice from the right to the left side. You need to always start from left. You can slice -3 to -1. That you can do. This you can do, correct? You already shown it already. Okay, num of 1. Num of -3 to -1. That you already know. Why? Because I'm starting from here. I avoid it is 70. Okay, it is starting from here. I am starting from here. Please understand this. I'm starting from here. I'm going to cut till the remaining characters. Correct? So here -3 to -1, it is valid because I'm starting from here. I'm slicing from left to the right side. It will work. But when you start from here and move travels to the right side, it will not work. It will give you an empty string. Clear about this? Confusion? Conclusion?
Conclusion.
Yes, sir.
Conclusion. Okay. Let's do one more last one. This is very important, guys. Remember always. Otherwise, listen this recording one more time. Your starting index is always BR. Slicing should happen. Slicing should always from left to the right side. That otherwise you remember this way. Okay. You should cannot go from right to right side. You always move from left to the right side, or your starting index should always be lesser compared to the end index. Example, I have step something like this, num. Okay. What is this gives actually? I'll leave this one. Okay. It is going to give, come on. Okay. What is this gives? I did not specify anything. It gives everything. It gives everything. Okay. So what does this gives? Ask this question quickly. Let's see. Num of 1. What does it gives?
0.
It will
Zero.
give 0. I not specify the
0.
starting position by default. By default, start index is 0. If you do not specify, it is going to take your start index as 0. Okay, by default, index is last index. End index is last. Where you see this example is the here. I not specify the beginning of the index. I not specify the end of the index. Beginning of the index is taken as a 0. End of the index is taken as a last index. It is given everything. Okay. So there is something you can also do. A num of, okay. Okay, what is it meaning? So what is it meaning here is, this is your start index. This is your end index. Third parameter called step. Step is how many each time, how many. This example, I will take the step. I will go to teach tomorrow. I am getting late. What I do is the step I will teach tomorrow. And there are string functions are there. I am going to teach tomorrow. Very, very important. Try to understand this is very fundamental. This is very, very important topic to learn, because once you understand the string data type, the remaining all will be on the same. We have another data types called list tuple tuples, the range, we have multiple containers, but important, somebody has a very good question. Can we slice integers? You cannot slice numbers because they are not containers. They are called variables. There is a difference between the variables and the containers. That is what I'm going to teach when I'm teaching on the list. I'll teach what is the meaning of a container, what is the meaning. Variables are the placeholder for only one value, but containers are the placeholder for multiple values. In other programming languages, we call them arrays, but in Python, we do not call them directly arrays. We call them a containers. We have a different type of a containers holding the multiple values. Enough of it today. See you then tomorrow. Please do not keep your backlog. Try to finish your classes on the same day. Otherwise, you will not be able to learn regularly. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. I'll